Okay, so this is just a shorter flow for you, something that you could do every night or when you're having an off day. Anytime that you just need some extra stretching, you can do parts of it, you can do all of it. It's a pretty flexible flow. So we're just gonna get started, okay? Taking a wide-legged child's pose here. Spreading the knees out towards the sides of the mat, bringing the big toes to touch. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. One more cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. Now closing the lips, beginning to find that Ujjayi breath. Inhaling through the nose, constricting the back of the throat, and exhaling through the nose. Hearing that slight whisper in the back of the throat, as if you're trying to fog up a mirror with the lips closed. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to begin to tent the fingertips and walk them over towards the right side of the mat. Really pressing into that left palm, pushing the left hip down towards the heel. Feel that side body stretch. And let's inhale, walking them through center and over towards the opposite side. Inhale, coming back to center. And let's float up into a neutral tabletop. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees in line with the hips. We're going to start with some hip circles. So floating up as if you're in a modified plank, and then just rolling the hips towards the side and coming up and around, finding a bit of a cat pose here, feeling the shoulder blades separate, pressing back. And then we're going to switch to the opposite side, making sure to equal it out on both sides of the body. Taking this slowly, making sure that you can feel each muscle stretch and move. All right. So we're going to meet in a neutral tabletop here. Tucking the toes, let's press back into downward dog. Just for a moment here, walking it out, bending one knee and straightening the other. Maybe coming up onto the toes, rolling out the ankles, really allowing the chest to fall towards the back of the room. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, let's float up, rolling through the spine, come into a high plank. And exhale, leading with the tailbone, pressing back. Come into downward dog. One more time, rolling through the spine, feeling each vertebrae, and leading with the tailbone, downward dog. Good. So now we're going to step that right leg forward and come into a low lunge here. So dropping the back knee, untucking the toes. Lifting the arms up overhead, take a deep inhale, and exhale, sink a little bit deeper into that leg. Try to make sure that this knee is behind the hip. We don't want it to be completely parallel or level with the hip, otherwise we won't be getting any hip flexor benefits. So maybe rocking forward and back a little bit here. Inhale, and exhale. All right, so we're going to place the hands down and come into our lizard pose. So heel-toeing the foot over towards the outside of the right hand, placing both hands down. You can lower your hands down towards the floor or maybe come onto a block. Since this is early on in the practice, you're going to feel really tight in the hips here. So press onto that thigh. Be gentle here, allowing yourself to begin to open up. And maybe drawing it back into center. Placing the hands down, maybe come onto the forearms. Try to draw the knee in towards the hip. Inhale and exhale. All right, now we're gonna come onto our hands, come into our half split. So you may be up here, you may wanna keep your hands on your hips and just work on drawing the hips back. Or maybe you bring the hands to the thighs. If you have some blocks, it's always good to place the hands down there. Or you can lower them down towards the floor. Wherever you go, make sure to lengthen through the spine, maintain that flat back, draw chin to toes, draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Inhale, exhale, maybe sinking the hips a little bit lower, opening through the chest. Inhale, and exhale. All right, and so we're gonna come all the way up. Just come onto both knees, keeping them parallel to one another. We're gonna come into our camel pose. So in this pose, I really want you to be careful, move slowly, mindfully, because otherwise you can fall into some serious injuries and hurt yourself. So be very careful with this pose. Knees are level. We're gonna start just by placing our hands on the lower back. Inhale, opening up through the heart, reaching the pelvis forward. And with each exhale, maybe lowering yourself a little bit further each time, maybe dropping the neck. If this is enough for you, stay here. Otherwise, you can work to lower the hands down towards the calves. And if this is good, maybe you work towards walking the hands closer towards the inner thighs. And you can just stay here, maintaining your breath. Try to draw the hips forward. We don't want to lean back. That doesn't do anything for us. This is a hip flexor and back opening. So hips forward, chest open, gaze is falling towards the back. Inhale and exhale. All right, so as you come out of this slowly, be very careful. Move even slower than you think you need to, because you're probably gonna feel a little lightheaded. Just lowering down onto the hips. Head is the last thing to roll up. Just take a moment for yourself. Let the blood rush back. Okay, great. And now we're going to switch onto the opposite side. So come into downward facing dog. And then we're gonna float that left leg forward, dropping that knee down, come into your low lunge. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, settle. We want that same alignment in every lunge position. So knee over ankle, hip in line with the knee. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's lower both hands down. Heel toe that left foot over. Bring both hands on the inside of that leg, and acknowledging the differences on both sides. So maybe on one side you were able to get down onto your forearms, no problem. And maybe here you need to stay lifted, that's okay. Acknowledge those differences and work with your body, not against it. So if you'd like, you can place that hand on the thigh, maybe open up on the outside of that foot. Feel that stretch through the glutes and the IT band a little bit. Inhale. And exhale. All right, let's draw that knee back into center. Maybe holding it here for just another breath. Inhale and exhale. Let's come up onto our hands. Lengthen through that front leg. Come into your half split. Maintain that flat back as usual. Draw that left hip back, right hip forward. Flexing through the front toes. Maybe the hands come down towards the mat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we're gonna lift all the way back up. Draw the knee back in line with the hips. We're gonna come into camel pose once more. This time we're gonna do more of a core workout. So same positioning as camel. This time we're gonna extend the arms out long. And for the sake of the video, I'm only gonna do sets of 5 for most of our exercises, but you're welcome to pause it and do as many as you'd like. So inhale, roll the shoulders down and back. Engage the lower abdomen, pull in that bandha, upward lifting lock. Inhale and exhale. Maintain the height in the torso, lowering back, coming to our camel hinge. Feel that shake. Inhale, lifting back up, using strength, not momentum. Exhale, lower, hold it here, pull in the abdomen, belly button to spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge, maybe finding a little bit more depth each time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it all the way down. Hands to heart center. Take a breath. And now we're going to come into puppy dog pose. So puppy dog is essentially like child's pose, where instead of being like this with our hips down, we're in the same position, but our hips are up, stacking our hips on top of our knees, allowing the torso to fall down towards the floor. Maybe the head can fall too. Pressing into the mat with the palms, feel the chest fall closer towards the thighs, drawing the sit bones back just like we do in downward dog. Inhale. Exhale, sinking the chest a little bit lower to the ground. Inhale. And exhale. All right. Now let's float back up onto hands and knees and come into downward facing dog. So now we're gonna do a little bit of shoulder work. We're gonna come into dolphin pose. So as if you were in downward dog, just lower the forearms down. Maybe you walk the feet forward just a little bit. Here, we wanna make sure that we're not sinking into our shoulders, okay? That's not giving us any benefit. Press the floor away, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. And exhale, chest is drawing towards the back of the room. Hands are planted firmly down on the mat. We're gonna do some dolphin walks. So here we're gonna begin to tiptoe the feet towards the elbows as high as you can, and then walking them back. Again, we're gonna do 5 sets of them. So walking them forward, tiptoeing, and going back. Taking as many sets as you'd like, making sure that when you walk forward, we have a tendency to just lean forward, okay? Keep that engagement in the shoulders and upper arms. Keep that height when you walk forward and then walk back. Inhale, walking forward. Last time, exhale back. Good. Maybe the feet come back a little bit more. And we're gonna hinge forward. Just come into your forearm plank. Holding it here for a moment. Inhale and exhale. Release it all the way down. So you're gonna come into Sphinx now. So similar arm positioning. You wanna draw the elbows back. Chest is shining forward. Palms are planted firmly down on the mat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, keeping the hands where they are. This time we're gonna press through the palms, lift the elbows up, maintain that back bend. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Maybe you lift the arms all the way up. Try not to hyperextend them, okay? Keep a little bend. Find that shake zone. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Let's release all the way down. We're gonna come into a really great shoulder stretch. For a lot of men especially, they have very poor shoulder mobility. So this is something that I want you to just work on a little bit. This is a great stretch to do every night. You can do it multiple different ways, but I'm just gonna show you one. So laying on the belly, extend the arms long out towards the sides, maybe placing one cheek down. We're gonna start out, I'm gonna roll towards you at first so that way you can see what the movement is. So rolling over, keeping this arm extended, rolling over onto the left shoulder, allowing that right foot to step over, and we're gonna just open up here. All right, maybe the foot doesn't go that far at all, that's okay. You should feel the stretch in the shoulder right away. Maybe this arm can come up, maybe you can bring it over. Maybe you can even extend that leg out long. I can't really do that, so don't push it. And holding this pose for a little bit longer than you think you need to, as if you're rolling the muscles out with like a roller or a tennis ball. You wanna hold it a little bit longer, release that lactic acid in the muscles. But for the sake of the video, I'm gonna release it down. And we're gonna switch over towards the opposite side, so extending the arms out long and beginning to roll over towards the right, lifting the left leg up, opening up. You should feel this stretch all the way through here, a little bit in the back. Just making sure that you don't go beyond a point where you're gonna feel any sort of pain. If you feel any intense pinch, back off immediately. Maybe you don't go that far. Maybe you just rest here a little bit. Just find that little opening that your body's asking for. Inhale and exhale. Great, let's come back to center. All right, so because I know you have a hip impingement, we're gonna do another exercise. It's more like a Pilates exercise, but it's exactly what you need to be able to strengthen your hip flexors, and then over time be able to build more flexibility, therefore limiting injury and hopefully pain. So what we're gonna do is called a clamshell. So you can lower down onto the forearm or just release all the way down and hold up your head with your hand. Knees are gonna be stacked one on top of the other, okay? And maybe just keeping your hand on your hip here. So keeping the feet together, you're gonna open them, really engage every aspect of this lifted leg. The glutes, the hamstrings, quadriceps, every part of this leg that you can. Pulling it as high as you can until you find that shake, and then lower. So we're gonna do this a couple more times. Inhale, lift and hold. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, lift and hold. You wanna try to really push that leg back as if you're trying to push the leg back farther than is physically possible until you find that intense engagement. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Okay, great. So now we're going to just switch over onto the opposite side. Do the same exercise here. Again, always pause it. Keep going if you want a little bit more or if you feel that you have the energy to. Okay, so hips stacking, knees stacking, feet together. Inhale, lift and hold, press it back. Exhale, lower, maybe squeezing the thighs together. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale, lift, and hold it here. Press it to the back of the room. Find that shake. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it all the way down. Great. Okay. So now we're going to come onto our backs, just lowering down. We're going to come into a figure 4 here. So bending at the knees, we're going to draw the right ankle over the left thigh. Draw them in, flex the feet, threading that right hand through the center and just draw it into the chest. Maybe do some ankle rolls here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Using that right elbow to press that thigh away, intensifying the stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can always lengthen through that lifted leg, pulling it back, but you get just as much of a benefit, if not more, by keeping it bent. Inhale and exhale. All right, we're gonna lower the legs down, switching over opposite side, figure 4, threading that left hand through, pressing the left elbow on that left thigh, hugging it in, making sure to clasp the hands behind the thigh so that you don't put any excessive pressure on your knee. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Releasing that grip and releasing the legs. I'm into a happy baby here. So lifting the feet up towards the ceiling, bending at the knees, and reaching for the big toes with the index and middle finger. Drawing the knees down into the armpits, maybe rocking side to side. Happy baby is such a good restorative pose. However, when you are in this pose, I want you to make sure that you're not lifting up, okay? This isn't stretching anything. Keeping the tailbone grounded, sacrum on the mat, elbows pulling down, knees drawing down, feet are flexed. You can always reach for the instep of your feet if you have that extra mobility. If you'd like, you can work on straightening one leg, maybe bending that other one, and switching sides. Maybe you find both. You can find a reclined straddle. All right, now let's draw the knees back into the chest, finding some momentum, rocking forward and back, and then coming up to a seated position. Now, if you'd like to play with something, we can try rolling back and forth, okay? Rocking forward and back, and try to cross the legs, plant the hands, lower down chaturanga, okay? Just something fun to try. Otherwise, you can just roll on over, come into high plank, and exhale, lower chaturanga, elbows really grazing the side. Inhale, upward dog, knees, thighs, shins are lifted, up off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now we're gonna do a variation of a chaturanga push-up and some core work. It's just kind of a combination of everything, okay? So coming into downward dog, as usual, we're gonna start lifting the left leg up, okay? We're gonna keep the knee bent, draw the knee in towards the nose. Inhale, we're gonna lengthen that leg, lower down chaturanga, keep that leg lifted. Inhale, pressing back up and crunching down. Extending that leg out, lower down on that exhale. Inhale, push back up, draw the knee into the nose. Good. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga, keep it lifted. Inhale, back up. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, crunch. One last time, make it your best one yet. Inhale, lengthen, plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward dog, crunch. Beautiful. We're gonna do that again on the opposite side. So maybe come down, roll out the wrists. And then we're gonna switch over towards the opposite side. So bending that right knee in towards the nose. And finding an inhale, come into your high plank. Exhale, chaturanga, elbows graze the side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, crunch. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift. Exhale, crunch. One more time. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift. Exhale, crunch. Whew. Okay. It's hard to do that and talk at the same time. So just roll out the wrists here for a little bit. Shake out the arms. Catching your breath. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Out through the mouth. Releasing that heat. Find that Ujjayi breath once more. Closing the lips. And whenever you're ready, we're gonna press back into downward dog. All right, so let's inhale, flip that left leg up, three-legged dog. And let's bend that knee, stacking your hips, making sure to square off the shoulders, equal weight distribution in both hands. Inhale. Exhale, draw knee to nose, hold and hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, hold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right knee to left. Try to get it to the tricep. Inhale, lift. And exhale, step it all the way through. And on your next inhale, shifting weight into that front foot. Inhale, kick up, find a standing split just for a minute. Your leg's probably not gonna go this high, okay? Your leg might be here. That's okay. Just go there for a second and then lower it down. On your inhale, we're gonna come all the way back up. And exhale, come into your chair pose. So sinking through the hips, stacking shoulders over hips, allowing for the natural curve in your spine. Arms are extended up overhead. Exhale. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, pull the belly button in. And on your exhale, we're gonna cross left arm underneath the right, bring the palms together, hugging that left knee into the chest and crossing it over. We're coming into eagle pose. So this may be all where you get. That's okay. You keep that foot down, make a kickstand. You may be all the way up here. That's fine. Just go where your foot goes naturally. All right? Or if you have the mobility, you can work on finding that wrap, bringing that foot around. It's okay to be wobbly. Clearly I am. All right. Now inhale, lifting the elbows in line with the shoulders. Draw the palms away from the face. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Maybe sink a little bit lower. Inhale, unwinding the arms and the legs, keeping that leg lifted. We're gonna step that left leg back, reaching the arms behind the lower back. You can clasp the palms together. Inhale, roll the chest open. Allow the head to fall, find a mini back bend. And exhale, beginning to hinge forward. Now I want you to keep your hands clasped here. Normally I say you can always lower them down, but I want you to get that shoulder stretch as well as the hip. So try to keep the palms together, okay? Not letting them fall forward so much. Work on maintaining that safe pose, palms together, not overextending through the shoulders. Maintaining a flat back, chin to toes. Draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Good. Gaze is at your big toe. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. All right, so let's release those hands. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the hands to the hips. And inhale, coming all the way up. We're gonna flip the toes just towards the opposite side. Same thing here, toes facing the front or the back of the room now. Arms extended up overhead. Exhale, bringing hands to the lower back, open up through the chest. And exhale, beginning to hinge forward. Drawing that left hip back this time, right hip forward. Palms are together. Trying to keep the gaze at the big toe. Inhale and exhale. Still engaging that lower abdomen. The more you engage that lower abdomen, the more of a workout any yoga practice can be. As long as you find some sort of engagement, you'll be getting a physical benefit. Inhale and exhale. Great. On your inhale, let's come all the way back up, bringing arms overhead. And this time we're gonna step forward and come right into our eagle pose. So shifting weight into that left leg, hinging forward, bringing right knee into the chest and crossing that right knee over the left. Maybe you find that wrap. Gonna bring the right arm underneath the left this time. Try to bring the palms to touch. Inhale, lifting the elbows in line with the shoulders. Draw the palms away from the face. Feel that shoulder stretch. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper into that standing leg. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Find your deepest point and releasing everything down. Drawing the feet back together. Heel toe them out to be about hips width apart. Toes facing the corners of the mat. Bring the arms up overhead and exhale, sinking down into your Malasana squat. So maybe you need that block underneath your hips. That's totally fine. Take that modification. Maybe you come up onto the heels or on the balls of the feet. As we rest in our Malasana squat or our yogi squat, pressing palms into one another. Find that connection. Elbows pressing into knees. Open up through the hips. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. All right, now I figured I would throw in an arm balance for you because arm balances are fun and they teach you to be humble and easy on yourself, but also acknowledge what your body's capable of. So we're gonna go into it from Malasana. We're gonna place our hands down as if you're in a forward fold. Knees are gonna be into the armpits, as high up on the triceps as you can. And you're gonna plant the hands down onto the floor, about shoulder distance apart. Come up onto the toes. and begin to hinge forward. You're gonna use your triceps like a tabletop and just hinging forward, keeping the arms bent. Maybe you play around with lifting up one foot, maybe the other. Maybe you can get both up. Maybe you can bring the toes together. Maybe you can lengthen through the arms, find your crane pose. You try hopping back down into chaturanga. That's just something fun for you to work on. You never have to do it. You don't even have to try it. It's just something to consider. Okay, so we're gonna come onto our knees. Maybe rolling the mat up on both sides. I always need to, otherwise it hurts the inside of my knees, but we're coming into frog pose, which is a rather intense pose. We're gonna lower onto the knees. You wanna have a right angle directly out of the thigh to the knee, knee to the ankle, okay? And then begin to lower the forearms down. Maybe, if you can begin to reach the hands forward and lowering the chest down. Now, if you have this, or wherever you are, you want to work on drawing the hips back, bringing the pelvis down. When you practice this at home, I want you to hold this for as long as you can, because with each exhale, you'll find that you can sink a little bit lower each time. Maybe the chest finally begins to fall onto the floor. Maybe you feel the hips lower and your knees widen. All right, great. Now, coming out of this slowly, coming up onto the forearms, you're gonna begin to hinge forward, lengthen through the legs, gently lower the hips down, and draw the knees back together, just walk them. All right, and come onto your hands and knees. We're gonna come into boat pose. So, let's take a deep inhale, lifting the chest, draw thighs to chest, chest to thighs, extending the arms out long. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we're gonna begin to lift up, crossing the ankles, place the hands down. Maybe you rest the heels down, at least for the first time. You're gonna press the hips up. Maybe you find lift off, maybe not. Draw the knees together into the chest, make yourself into a little ball, and then release it back down, come into boat. Inhale and exhale, cross the feet, palms down. Maybe you keep the heels up this time and find lift off. Exhale, release. Inhale, exhale. Cross the ankles, knees together, press the mat down, and release back into boat. All right, and then just release that down. Okay, so next, we're gonna lie on our backs here, feet extended up towards the ceiling, palms facing down. So we're gonna do 3 sets, 10 count, lower 30 degrees each time, okay? So feet are at 90 degrees, inhale, exhale, lower 30, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower another 30. You can always bring the hands behind the head if you want a little bit more engagement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower them down, hover them over the mat. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift them all the way back up. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. If you need a second like I do, you can just release it for a minute. All right. And lower. 10, 9, maybe crossing the feet this time. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower and hover. Make it fast this time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it all the way down. Let's draw the knees into the chest here. All right, so now we're gonna come up. We're almost done. We're gonna take pigeon pose, then Savasana. So lowering that right leg down, shin parallel to the mat, sweeping that left leg back, and coming up, staying lifted here. All right, inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, releasing the hands forward. Holding this down for as long as you'd like, allowing yourself to indulge here. You can always place a block underneath that hip if you need some extra height. Inhale and exhale. All right. Sitting upright. Then we're just going to switch sides. So drawing that left leg forward this time, lowering the knee down, coming into your pigeon, staying lifted at first, drawing the thighs together. Inhale and exhale, beginning to hinge forward, lowering all the way down. Making sure to keep that left foot flexed. Utilize that breath anytime you feel that temptation to fidget, so that you can allow yourself to fully submit to this pose, receiving all of its benefits. All right, we're just gonna lower all the way down, drawing knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Finding a little bit of a supine twist, so extending the arms out long and lowering the legs over towards one side, allowing the gaze to fall over towards the opposite, making sure that both shoulders are in contact with the mat. Inhale to come back through center and over towards the opposite side, maybe shifting that hip underneath the opposite one. You can always bring one hand to that thigh to encourage a deeper twist. And really allow yourself to be here and detoxify, allowing this twist to rejuvenate you, thinking of yourself as if you were a wet piece of cloth, and as you're twisting, you're wringing yourself out, wringing out any impurities, any negativity, sending fresh blood to all your organs so you can come out of this practice rejuvenated, pure, fresh. All right, let's draw the knees back towards center. And extend the legs out long, allowing the feet to splay out towards the sides, palms facing up or down. Relaxing the jaw, removing the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Allowing the breath to become more natural here. Begin to acknowledge that warm, tingling sensation coursing through your body. Knowing that this is the energy you produce in your practice today. All of your hard work leads up to this moment of peace, where you can indulge in this beautiful sensation. So I want you to draw this sensation, this tingling warmth, towards the center of your being, in the space just above your belly button, your solar plexus chakra. And think of it as a warm, bright, yellow light. And as it resides in your solar plexus, you begin to fall deeper into your Savasana. As this light radiates out your core to the arms and the legs, out through the fingers and the toes. It relaxes each part of the body as it passes through. making each limb, each bone, each muscle a little bit more limp and heavier, so that you are held up solely by the earth, so you can be at peace with yourself and your thoughts. Beginning to bring some awareness back into the body. Taking a deep inhale, feeling the belly rise and fall. Inviting in some movement, wiggling the fingers and the toes, rocking the head side to side. Rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And then taking a full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead. And then rolling over onto the right side, using the arm as a pillow. Taking a moment here to show yourself gratitude and compassion. Be proud of yourself for showing up on your mat, for taking time out of your day, of your busy life, to focus on your well-being. On your next inhale, beginning to press yourself up into a seated position. With the eyes closed, beginning to shift the gaze to the third eye. On your next inhale, shifting the hands to the center of the forehead as well. Inhale. Exhale, releasing hands to heart center. The light and love in me honors and salutes that same light and love in you. No expectations, no judgments, just practice. Namaste.